Hey guys, welcome to this next YouTube video. Today I'm going to give you a few tips on how to improve your lag putts. These are the putts when we're about 30 feet plus outside of the flag, and this is how you're going to make more 2-putts when you're faced with these length putts. Let's get into the video. So in terms of being good from 30 feet and out and being a good lag putter, what needs to be ensured that is correct is our stroke length and our stroke timing. And I touched on this in our last video. In the last video I was saying how in terms of stroke timing we need to try and hit that 2-second timing, and in terms of the stroke lengths we've got to make sure that our backstroke is 50% of the stroke and our full stroke is 50% of the stroke. If we were hitting these two parameters, then it's going to help us build in a system. So when we get up to this sort of longer putt, what we want to make sure is in play is obviously them two parameters, and we just need to make sure that obviously we're just doing the stroke length on a larger scale than say a 10-foot, 20-foot, 30-foot putt. This is actually 40 feet here, and what I've done is I've measured out how long the stroke should be from back to front, and that's what I'd say is going to really help you out when you're practicing these putts. Firstly, getting down the correct stroke length. Okay, so here I've got myself around about 50 centimeters back, 50 centimeters through. I've just calculated that with the length of the putt and the green speed. And that, what I'm going to try and do when I'm practicing this length putt is just feel as though within 2 seconds I'm getting 1 second up to here and then 1 second through to there. Okay, so I'm just feeling like I've got that quite quick tempo. Obviously now I'm up to this sort of length and now I've got a longer putt with a longer stroke length. My club head speed on my putter needs to increase because I need to get up to that tee in the same amount of time as what I'd have to get up to like a 10-foot stroke length tee. So obviously everything needs to happen a little bit quicker. That building up of the club head speed, getting it up to that point, still in that same amount of time, is going to give me more power for the putt that I obviously need. So the hard thing about lag putting is to try and judge this correctly, because obviously when we're on the course we're not going to have the tees laid down, but obviously we're going to have in our head the 50-50 and then the 2-second timing. Obviously it's really good just to practice having them lengths down, so then you can actually feel what it feels like to get the putter up to the correct length. And the more you practice that within that 2-second timing, the better your feel's going to get when you actually get out onto the course and you're faced with a long putt. And what it might help doing is when you've got a long putt is actually pacing the putt out. You see a lot of guys on tour do that. They're going to count how long the putt is, and then they know in their head how long the putt is. Then they're going to probably use their feel from there. And that's what I'd probably recommend doing first, is actually getting the length of the putt in your head. Either doing 1-foot paces, or every step having a big step and doing 3-foot paces. That's probably the easier way. That's what I've done here, and this is around about 40 feet. That's how I measured these tees out. So again, if I'm just going to hit a few putts here, I'm just going to try and feel as though I get my putter up to one tee and through to the other tee in the correct timing. So 1, 2. Cool, there we go. Didn't really aim that the best, so let me try and aim this one a little bit more towards the right side. But I'd say in terms of pace, pretty happy with that there. Let's try it again. 1, 2. Okay, so better line there. And again, better stroke length and better stroke timing. I actually had a junior class not too long ago, and we was doing putting, and I said to them, let's count that in your head. So just like I'm doing there, and that's what might help with you if you're on the green, just counting 1, 2. Because then you're going to know how long that stroke should be, and it's just a good guideline for when you're swinging your putter. So again, 1, 2. And just having a quicker backstroke definitely just keeps that putter face far more stable. On a longer putt, it's easy for people just to have a very slow backstroke. When the backstroke's slow, it's easy for the face to open up more as well, which can then have problems within itself, because if the face is more open at the top of the backstroke, then we're going to be more likely to push it, or we're going to save it last minute, flip the head, and then that's going to make the ball go long and left. So just having a backstroke that is correct in speed and in time just allows that putt head just to stay more stable. You can see there, if I bring it back nice and quick, then that face is in a really good position. Whereas if I bring it back slow, I'm probably more likely to maybe open the face and then cause the head to wobble around, which is going to cause an incorrect path and then the incorrect start line into the ball. Generally, if your start line's off, then you're going to have to save it at some point during the stroke. So like I said, if the face is open, then you're probably going to flip it. That's actually going to add power onto your putt, which is then going to affect your distance control as well. So obviously just practicing this is really going to build up your feel. And just a final tip I'd like to say is obviously when you're putting from these lengths, it's really important to use the feel in your hands. And if you were setting up to this ball just like this, and you was trying to roll a ball up to your hole, how fast would you have to swing your hands, and in what direction would you have to swing your hands in order to get that ball to roll straight and then to roll at the correct pace? It's really important just to feel it in your hands. That's why having a lighter grip pressure on these putts is definitely going to help as well. So if you can combine that sort of feel work in with some more sort of technical work in terms of the stroke length and stroke timing, then obviously everything's going to start to improve. And it's just about spending as much time as possible as you can on these long putts. Try and split it between 50-50 between short putts and long putts. And then obviously that's when you're going to start to get better from there. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Just a little tip on lag putts and just a few things there just to help you out with your lag putts. Obviously pace is king, so it's really important to ensure that we get this right, as that's going to really allow us to reduce free putts. If you can like and subscribe, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next week.